One of the things that happens quite often with Trump is that he'll make a policy change, and then you'll read a headline on it, and you'll go, it like won't register, and you have to reread it a few times because you're like, there's no way. Like, you can't do this, right? Oh, he can, and he is. He's doing it. Look at this. This is in The Guardian. The Trump administration shuts down national database documenting police misconduct. Database first proposed by Trump in 2020 and created by Biden in 2023 is now offline. So the idea behind this is exactly what you think. Hey, we have these abusive cops, we have these criminal cops, we have these rapist cops, we have these people who abuse their authority time and time again, put them on a list, and then make it so that they're not hired all over. You can't just shuffle from one police department to another. It's a similar thing. The Catholic Church did this back in the day when they were diddling kids every other day. They would take a priest and just shuffle them from one parish to another and be like, but what, bro? I don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. Dave's fine, bro. And it's like, they had to pay out a tremendous amount of money over this because it was basically a criminal scheme. Well, this is what happens with police departments, right? And they finally did something to address it. Boom, rolling it back. Here we go. Donald Trump's second presidential administration shut down a national database that tracked misconduct by federal police, a resource that policing reform advocates hailed as essential to prevent officers with misconduct records from being able to move undetected between agencies. The National Law Enforcement Accountability Database, which stored police records documenting misconduct, is now unavailable, the Washington Post first reported. The U.S. Justice Department also confirmed the database's elimination in a statement issued online. User agencies can no longer query or add data to the NLEAD. The statement read, the U.S. Department of Justice is decommissioning the NLEAD in accordance with federal standards. A website that hosted the database is no longer active. The police misconduct database, the first of its kind, was not publicly available. Law enforcement agencies could use the NLEAD to check if an officer applying for a law enforcement position had committed misconduct such as excessive force. Several experts celebrated the NLEAD when Joe Biden first created it by an executive order issued in 2023, the third year of his presidency. Quote, law enforcement agencies will no longer be able to turn a blind eye to the records of misconduct in officer hiring, and offending officers will not be able to distance themselves from their misdeeds. The Legal Defense Fund president and director counsel Janae Nelson said of the database at the time. So guys, I mean, this is exactly what it looks like it is. Trump is like, let's bring back the abusive criminal cops, because those abusive criminal cops, number one, I don't care what they do to other people. Number two, perhaps they'll be loyal to me, and I want that. I want people who are willing to break a couple eggs to make an omelet. This is what he's thinking. This is the same reason why he pardoned 1,500 January 6ers, including the ones who were violent, including the ones who assaulted cops, including the ones who were rapists and pedophiles. There's a reason he did that. He's sending a message. If you commit a crime and it's on behalf of me, it's not actually a crime, and I'm totally okay with that, and I love you for it. This is like when he said, when people were assaulting people in his crowds in 2016, go ahead and hit them. I'll pay the legal bills. But Trump has since rescinded Biden's executive order as part of an ongoing effort to slash federal agencies down. Trump himself initially proposed the database after the police murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis in 2020, months before Biden defeated him in the presidential election that November. In an email statement to the Washington Post, the White House confirmed the database's deletion. Quote, President Trump believes in an appropriate balance of accountability without compromising law enforcement's ability to do its job of fighting crime and keeping communities safe. But the Biden executive order creating this database was full of woke anti-police concepts that make communities less safe, like a call for equitable policing and addressing systemic racism in our criminal justice system. President Trump rescinded the order creating this database on day one because he is committed to giving our brave men and women of law enforcement the tools they need to stop crime. In other words, yeah, if you want to assault people, go ahead and assault people, because I think that's part of crime fighting. You get to be a criminal to stop the criminals because I say it's okay. Your crime doesn't really count. Just like when Trump says we're going to steal Gaza, that doesn't count as us being imperialists. That doesn't count as us being war criminals because we're doing it and we're us. So it's okay. If you're in a uniform, a police uniform, and you assault an innocent black person, that's okay because you're you and they're them. They're like sort of inherently criminal, and you are sort of inherently good, so you got to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Oh, we had to get rid of it because of the woke stuff. Apparently now being against police abuse and police assault is woke. Well, then call me Wokey McWokington, bitch. I'll be the wokest person on the planet, if that's your definition. News of the NLEAD's erasure comes as police misconduct is far from rooted out in American law enforcement. For instance, in Huntsville, Alabama, an entire department was recently put on leave amid a grand jury investigation that found a rampant culture of corruption. Let me explain something to you. That's the least of people's worries, because there's a lot of those police departments in the Deep South where they're all like card-carrying KKK members. I wish I was joking. I wish it was hyperbole. It is not remotely that. The 18-person grand jury called for the Huntsville Police Department, which only has 8 officers, to be abolished. A probe into the police department came amid the death of a 49-year-old Christopher Michael Willingham, a Huntsville dispatcher. Willingham was discovered dead at work from a toxic combination of drugs. The department also failed to account for, preserve, and maintain evidence, and in doing so has failed crime victims and the public at large, the grand jury ruled. Yeah, so as I said, this is exactly what you think it is. This is Trump saying, you know what? We're actually in favor of police abuse and police misconduct. Trump he complains about, like, the rules of war, for example, right? Oh, the politically correct stuff, holding our soldiers back, this political correctness is crazy. That's him saying, as he said on a Fox News appearance in 2016, you have to take out their families. You have to take out the families of terrorists, not just the terrorists. You have to take out their families. This is what he thinks. This is how he thinks. It's the old idea of we are good, they are bad, might makes right, ends justify the means. We can do whatever we want. When we commit war crimes, they don't count. When we do illegal things, they don't count, right? And so, cops, you're one of the good guys. You're wearing the blue uniform. You know, you do whatever the fuck you want. And it's fighting crime, even when you are the criminal. It's fighting crime. And also, there's that angle of like, you know, if you were planning a fascist takeover, you would want the police officers and the police departments, you'd want them on your side. And all those abusive officers who would be out of a police job, if not for Trump, well, they get back into these police departments, and it's like, hey, I'm loyal to this guy, right? In the same way, what just happened? Trump purged the Pentagon, got rid of all of the military lawyers who say, hey, you're violating the law. Hey, this is breaking the Geneva Conventions. Hey, this is not in accordance with international law. Now there's none of that. He can do what he wants. He's putting in his own little sycophants to tell him, yes, sir, all the time, sir. Right? We're going to steal Gaza. Okay, that's fine. We're going to do 1800-style imperialism and colonialism. Okay, whatever you want, sir. We're going to steal 50% of Ukraine's natural resources. Right on, sir. We'll draft the plans for you. This is what he wants. This is a fascist coup. It's a fascist takeover. And they're making it more and more clear every day. And by the way, final point, you heard about this on this show. You go look who the fuck else is talking about this. You're not going to find him any places. You're not going to find him any places. And that is fucking criminal. All right, guys. That's the show, y'all. Thank you, as always, for listening. You know the drill. Everybody, please click like, click subscribe. If you do anything, if you do one thing, click subscribe. It helps out massively. It costs you nothing at all. It helps spread these videos out through the algorithm to get more views, get more subs, get more support for the show. It's a big deal. Just subscribing is a big deal. And of course, thank you to everybody who supports this show on Patreon. You guys are the real, day one types. Love you guys to death. If it wasn't for you guys, could not do this show. We're real, grassroots-funded, independent media. We are true independent media, one of very few in this hellscape of a media landscape, and couldn't do it without you. So if you'd like to support the show on Patreon, that's below. If you'd like to tip on YouTube, that's below as well. You could also support Crystal Kyle and Friends, and that link is below as well. That's on Substack. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Much love, y'all. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.